Hi and welcome. Today we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farm and we're going to be talking about raised beds for the home gardener. I'm here with Dr. Leonard Kathinji. He is a professor and extension specialist here at VSU. Leonard, you got amazing amounts of raised beds here, and I think this can be good for a home gardener, but what do you think? And maybe if it is good for a home gardener, why would it be good for a home gardener?
Yeah, this bed gardening is very applicable in home gardening. First of all, the soil is not always great in urban area. It may have contaminants such as lead or arsenic. You want to stay away from that, and the raised bed garden helps you to do that. But you can also have soil that is too compact. The only way to overcome that problem is to have a raised bed garden. Plus, it's very easy to work when you have a raised bed garden. You have some control environment, and it's just so easy to work on such a garden.
It makes perfect sense, and I see them quite often now. And I see ones like this. They're made out of dimensional lumber, and this is a really kind of tall one, but it's on the ground. Are there other types, other ways to build these that we can see?
Yeah, we have another side that you can see different kind of gardens that we have, but you can also use different materials like cinder blocks. You can also use plastic materials, but here all we have are made of lumber.
Okay. Well, let's go check out that other site now and see what you've got there. Hey Rachel, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm good. What you planting here?
We got some kale ready to go in the ground.
Oh, that looks great. Love these raised beds.
Aren't they something?
Yeah, Leonard said you had a lot of raised beds here, and it's a good place to come and visit.
We sure do. I can show you some more about it over here.
Wow, Rachel, this is great. I love this bed, and look at these amazing strawberries that you've got growing.
Yeah, they're really blooming right now. This is one of my favorite beds because of the height of it. I don't have to bend over at all to get into it.
I can see that.
But the key thing about building your raised beds is just to make sure that they are structurally sound. So one of the ways you can put them together on the corners is by using a wooden block on the inside, that post, and attaching them that way. Okay. You can also use like L brackets, or you can just straight bolt them in there. Yep. I prefer the L brackets. They really hold things together and they last a long, long time. The other thing is, if your bed is going to be over 6 foot, you want that middle board there in the middle, and it keeps these boards from bowing in and out. So it just holds everything together.
I can see that, and I see some of the heavier duty brackets you've got on some of the other beds, and it makes sense that those would last for a long time. And but I really like the way you've supported this corner here. That's great, because you have a lot of material in this bed, don't you? You know, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. So you've got to, once you build this, and I can see you really know how to build them, and they look great. But once you build them, you've got to fill it with something.
Absolutely.
What do you guys use when you're here?
So this one is full all the way to the bottom. We do a lot of composting that we just fill in the bottoms, and over time that'll turn into good soil. But what's important is about 1 foot or 2 foot under your plant in your rooting zone is where you really want the good stuff, like your potting mix or finished compost there for you. Okay. Now you don't have to fill it all the way though. You could just come about halfway and put a board under there. If you just want the regular height, you don't need to fill it. It'll save you money on your soil cost.
I can imagine, because these are costly to build anyway. You want to try to reduce that cost as much as you can.
Absolutely. And definitely use whatever materials you have on hand. Right.
I mean, we've got even concrete blocks, cinder blocks.
Concrete blocks, you can use bricks. I've seen people turn old pallets into beds. So there's really, it's all in your imagination.
All what you've got and what works for your budget.
Chris, I have a friend that actually converted a picnic table into a raised bed. All she did was took the picnic table and added boards on top, on the sides, and made her a square. And then she even kept the benches so she could sit and work on it at the same time. Now it has the slats already in the picnic table, so it does allow for that water to drain out, which is important.
Well, Rachel, this is great, a nice tall bed, but if somebody wanted to do something a little smaller, less costly, could they do that?
It all depends on what you're trying to grow. If you wanted a root vegetable, you're gonna need that depth, but if you're just trying to do lettuce or anything, you can go with just a shorter bed like we have back here. And I will say, when you're starting, before you fill, we have landscape fabric down here, but you can also put cardboard boxes down, anything to keep the weeds from coming in.
That makes sense. But you probably still have a lot less weeds than you would out in conventional produce.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, overall, I think these raised beds are a great option for home gardeners.
Yes, they're my favorite.
They are. Thank you so much for telling us today how you put these together and talking to us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, for more information about raised beds and how to use them in your garden, contact your local county extension office and talk to a master gardener. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.